Hello, this is T-Mike here in South Louisiana, and today I'm making a video on how to pressure test your crankcase. That's right. Trying to develop a method on pressurizing the crankcase to be able to test the upper and lower seals on your power head. So if everybody's ready, here we go. So if you follow my YouTube channel, you know already that my mission is to create a video on every aspect of repairing, servicing, and restoring vintage outboards, 1950s, 60s, and 70s, Johnson and Evinrude's, 18 horsepower and less. So I've been on a journey to try to figure out how to pressure test a powerhead crankcase. So we know how to pressure test a gear case if you watch my videos with a gear case pressure tester. We know how to take compression and test a powerhead with a compression tester. But do we know how to pressure test a crankcase to see if the upper and lower seals are good? I haven't been able to find a way to do that, but I think I've come up with a way. And this video is going to show the method that I'm using to try to develop a pressure test of a crankcase. So if we analyze the power head and the crankcase portion of it, we're not looking at the rear portion where the cylinders compress the carbureted fuel. That we test with a compression gauge. But on the other side of it, the opening, one of the openings of the crankcase is the carburetor manifold. So I had a machinist, who happens to be my father, make me a adapter to fit over the carburetor manifold so that I could screw in my pressure tester for my gear case and pump air into the crankcase. So now I had to figure out how to seal all the holes to get the pressure to build up to test this crank seal. And two of the holes are back here where the spark plug is, so you just put your spark plug in. The other opening is underneath, so my machinist father, the genius he is, made me a plate to bolt onto the bottom to pressurize to see if we can test the seal. So I set up a little lab here with 3 power heads to be able to pressurize the test and do the testing on it, and I'm going to show you how those results came through right now. So I guess you're ready, aren't you? Here we go. Alright, I got power head number 1 all set up for testing. I've got the bottom plate, exhaust plate on it. I've got the carburetor manifold plate on it with my gear tester screwed down for testing, and there's the seal we're testing. So I'm gonna pump it up, and looks like it's not holding air, and I'm gonna spray a little juice on it. And we can see that the testing device works. It's pressuring up the gear case, but the seal is not holding air. Alright, so that's one step forward. Let's move on and check the green power head, see what those results are. Okay, here's power head number 2, the green one. I've got the exhaust plate mounted, carburetor manifold mounted, tester ready to go. I'm gonna pump her up and not holding pressure. I'm gonna light up the seal, hit it with some air, and power head number 2 won't hold air. Oh, interesting. Let's move on to the third power head and see what we get. Okay, here's power head number 3 we're going to test. It's been prepped for the test with the exhaust plate and the carburetor manifold plate ready to pump air, and I suspect that it won't hold air, and it doesn't. So we're gonna put a little spray on it. We're gonna apply the air, and it too is either a bad seal or you can't pressure test a gear case. So very interesting. I'm gonna have to think about this one and draw a conclusion, so stand by for the summary. Well, in summary, my journey of pressure testing a crankcase will continue because I tested 3 crankcases to pressure test this upper crank seal, and all 3 seemed to fail the test. So now the question is, can you actually pressure test this seal or not? So my next step is going to be to purchase a new seal, at least one, and change the upper seal with a brand new one, and then repeat the pressure test on it, see if it'll hold pressure and how much it'll hold. And that'll tell me whether all these seals are actually bad or not. So I'll see another video in your future, and we're going to name this one How to Replace the Upper Seal on a 5.5 horsepower Johnson 1957, and how to test it. So stay tuned for that video. And remember, here at T. Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Here at T. Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time. Please subscribe. I guarantee to provide weekly videos. Au revoir, mes amis, and laissez les bon temps rouler.